My oaths betray each other till there's nothing left to keep.
Only Us by Miracle of Sound. Alright, welcome to the Shardbreaker podcast. I'm Midnight, your host. I'm here with Mythic
Well, hello.
and Darkness.
Hello.
And this is episode 15 of Words of Radiance. We read chapters 67 through 70 this week. And yeah.
It wasn't 71? Oh,
No,
shit.
it was
I thought
70.
we were reading Warbreaker.
uh-huh.
Again? Oh, man. I'd reread that book for sure.
You always
I
can
wouldn't.
whenever you want.
I know, I'm just saying. But I was talking about for the podcast. I would reread that book.
We have too many books to go through. So before we start, I wanted to thank our first paid Patreon, Hubris NXS, for choosing the top $9 tier. So thank you so much, Hubris, for being our first member. We really appreciate you. You guys should say thank you too.
Oh, I
What
thought
do
this
you
was a
mean?
hubris moment.
I thought, I thought you were gonna give thanks with like more exclusive content.
He gets exclusive content on the Patreon.
See, isn't that our
Honestly,
thanks?
But like this is gonna be like a one-on-one, isn't it?
Yeah,
No.
are we gonna
This
thank
is
every
a
Patreon?
public
Like,
episode.
go ahead with it?
Well, the other Patreons aren't paid. I only have promises to thank paid Patreons in our Patreon.
No, you
so.
said that like if they joined, they would like get on a one-on-one call. You guys would.
I
discuss
never
the-
said that. I did not.
You did. 100% said that.
The Patreon lists everything they get.
Like, you 100% said that you would get on cam with them and everything.
No, I did not.
You said you'd even do like public meetups.
Yeah,
No.
like,
Alright, so let's go into chapter 67 called Spit and Bile. And our epigraph is, My path has been chosen very deliberately. Yes, I agree with everything you have said about race, including the severe danger he presents. So what path do you think this person may have chosen?
I'll
We'll pass to the Patreon.
I mean, there always is one listener, right, Darkness?
Mm-hmm. It's definitely Shalon.
You think it's long from this one?
Yeah. It was Jasna in the last book, but it's
Oh,
Shalon
yeah.
in this.
I see. Yasna can't hear us in death.
Not dead.
She's temporarily out of service.
Temporarily out of service.
She's in shades on, that's all.
She's getting her parts fixed.
Okay. Yeah, so what path do you think this person may have chosen? Because they're saying that they don't agree with wit. They've chosen their own path very deliberately, even though they also agree that race is a danger.
This has always been a danger in life. All these racist people.
Oh, okay. Maybe he just. Well, that depends because we don't really know what Wit's planning on doing in general.
Yeah, we don't know much about this person who's writing to Wit. Just that they seem to be just as old as him, and
Like
they seem
you?
to have just as definitely. I'm definitely as old as Wit. So we start with Downlar's point of view as he walks with Navani
Wait.
down. Huh?
Do we know the how long they live?
We know Wit is at least older than the Heralds being around because they happened
Okay.
after the Shattering. Because he's as old as the Shattering
like-
at the very least.
But like, do we know if that's like normal lifespan expectancy for his people, or is like?
As far as I'm aware, I don't think it would be normal lifespan, but I don't know because we do not have a canon book on Yolan yet, and I don't like to read the non-canon books that he's revising because I don't want to mix up non-canon with canon.
Yeah. Okay.
So I don't know. I'm assuming it's not, but considering I believe in the Arcanum Unbounded, they've said that the humans on Skadrior were based off of the original humans, which all came from Yolan. And so if they're based on the same humans, I'm assuming they would have the same lifespan. So
you're telling me you choose to be ignorant? Okay.
I just don't want to fuck up and like say things that aren't going to be true in the long term.
Okay. I've heard that excuse before.
Okay. Anyway, so we start this chapter with Dalnar's point of view as he walks with Navani down from the pinnacle. Below, he can see the soldiers of two of the armies getting back from a plateau assault. He has one of the 4 Bridgeman guards go down to get the news of how it went, although he and Navani move slowly down the steps. He thinks that the Bridgemen are well disciplined, but didn't like Kaladin getting thrown into jail. However, Kaladin keeps them in line, and he thinks that Kaladin is the type of person who makes the best officers, and that Dalinar has needed similar lessons to the one Kaladin is learning. Navani then continues their conversation about Fabrials and how she wishes to have Fabrials in the plumbing to pull water against the flow of gravity, instead of having to plumb in a specific way for gravity to work with them. Dalinar barely pays attention until she mentions Shardblades and how Rushu figured out recently that Shardblades originally did not need the gemstones that are affixed to their pommels. She said this means that Shardblades are not Fabrials, as they had thought, but instead it seems that they have that some ability to summon and dismiss the blades was lost after the Radiance were disbanded, and that they were able to recreate the ability by affixing gemstones to them. The literature Rushu found also said that the blades changed shape to accommodate the gemstones, although Navani does not believe this. So what do you think about the Shardblades not needing gemstones for the Radiance?
At least we're learning how Shardblades are working. That means that there's a different power source, though, right?
Yeah, so it means that they're not powered by gemstones. They're some other form of, like, magic or something.
I wonder what kind of magic it is.
I wonder. So also, what do you think about the reports of the Shardblades shifting shape to accommodate the gemstones that were put on them?
Cool, to be honest.
Do you think that's
Wait,
true?
so-
Navani doesn't seem to believe it, but that's what the reports say.
I think all of the reports ever are always true. You know,
Wait,
I'm a sheep. I just listen to
ask it
whatever
again? Like,
is
what?
written.
I said, what do you think about the reports of the Shardblades shifting shape to accommodate the gemstones? So they said that Rushu learned that, like, in the past, when they have first affixed gemstones to the Shardblades somehow, like, change shape so that their, like, pommel hilt things would accommodate the gemstone.
Wait, so does that mean that it's customizable?
Apparently. So apparently they didn't just, like glue a gemstone on there. Apparently the swords, like, change shape to, like, make a little spot for the gemstone to fit into.
That's some lightsaber shit.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yes.
Don't tell me you don't know.
I don't.
Wait, you've never watched any type of Star Wars stuff?
No, Star Wars doesn't interest me.
Wow,
Because she's Canadian.
wow. That makes sense.
Okay.
Yeah, no, doesn't it?
So Navani then continues going on about Fabrial construction, but Dalinar is too distracted by thinking about the logistics of his upcoming attack on the Parshendi to focus on what she was saying. He didn't even know yet which of the High Princes would join him in attacking the Parshendi. Navani talks about Yasna and how she never let Navani mother her once she was an adolescent. She's also worried that Elhokar is going to be killed as well, but Dalinar promises to protect Elhokar, although Navani asks who is going to protect him. Navani then asks how Dalinar dealt with his wife's passing, as Yasna's passing was the first to affect her, implying that Gavilar's death had not been hard on her. Dalinar, however, doesn't know how to react, as he feels nothing when his wife is mentioned. Dalinar changes the topic to the fact that Gavilar knew things that he never shared with Dalinar nor Navani. Dalinar also...
Real quick, the like audiobook when she's like talking about her and she goes to say it, it goes shh.
Yeah, they do that
I
in the
thought it was
book.
hilarious.
So they do it in the book too. It's like shh, and it's
Yeah,
like
but
in a lighter
the way-
text, like it's like grayed out.
Okay,
For me, it was bright yellow.
Oh, that's
oh
weird.
my God. I thought it was funny because I was like, wait, did I miss something? And then I went back and listened to it again.
Nope, that's him not being able to hear her name.
Mm.
I wonder where shh is.
I mean, apparently dead. Apparently
She's not
shh
dead.
passed.
She pulled the Yasna. She pulled the Yasna.
You think so? Just
Yeah.
abandoned her sons and her husband for the last, like, what, 15 years or something?
Well, to be fair, we don't know if she's been able to come back.
Yeah, maybe not. Maybe she's stuck somewhere. Dalinar also mentions that the storm is only 11 days away, and Avani offers to read over her journals from the time again, but she had already done so dozens of times, so she doubts she would find anything new. So what sort of things do you think Gavilar knew about that he never told Dalinar or Navani?
Wait, Gavilar is the brother, right?
Yeah, Gavilar was Dalinar's brother, who was the
That's who
previous
knew
king.
this stuff?
Yeah, so
Yeah.
yeah, Dalinar's like, Gavilar knew shit, and he didn't tell either of us, and Navani's like, yeah, I don't know, I've tried to go through my journals, but I can't find anything.
Well, we obviously know that he did know stuff, and that's why he got killed.
I mean, it
Like,
seems
he
that
was
way.
Murdered.
Well, I mean, he got killed because the Parshendi said he wanted to bring back their gods.
Exactly, and he knew how.
Apparently, he knew enough that they were scared about it.
So what you're saying is he knew stuff.
To be fair,
Yeah.
he succeeded.
So Dalinar focuses on the feast they are approaching and the High Princes. Navani tells him not to resent them for the lifestyles they indulge in, as Wit's job is to scorn, but Dalinar's job is to lead them. Dalinar agrees, and Navani leaves him to go to speak with the other women, as they sometimes will listen to her. Dalinar then receives word about the plateau assault, and how even though the Gemheart had been fairly far out, the Parshendi had not appeared to fight, and only had a few scouts watching from a distance. It wasn't the first time the Parshendi had refused to fight, and Dalinar worries about what this may mean. And we know a little bit about why they're not fighting, because they're like apparently all trying to gain storm form and then like summon a new storm to kill them all. So Dalinar moves towards the small soulcast island where only the most elite were allowed, passing by Wit, who had showed back up mysteriously. Dalinar approaches High Prince Vama, who seems uncomfortable. Dalinar tries asking about his soldiers, but he hears a group laughing nearby, which distracts Dalinar. He's confused, and Vama just apologizes. Dalinar tries to get more information from Sadeas, but the man doesn't give him any information. Elhokar was only just arriving at the feast, so he wouldn't have any information either. Dalinar continues to glance around before being distracted hearing Wit call out to Amaram. Amaram tries to be nice to Wit and holds out his hand, but Wit replies that he wouldn't want to get whatever Amaram uses to keep his hands clean on him. Dalinar notices Amaram has some papers under his arm like the others, and he approaches them. So at this point, what did you think the people were avoiding and laughing at Dalinar about?
My thought was that his little affair with what's her nuts.
Navani.
Gotcha. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But
What did you think, Darkness?
Well, I've always been suspicious of Navani. Right? So I was like, this bitch pulled something. I was like, she did something, you know.
I still think she pulled something.
You do? She thinks she was involved in this?
Yeah.
I wouldn't be
See.
surprised.
And it was her notes that got out,
That's what I'm
although
saying.
altered.
And out of a locked room. Yeah.
So Wit continues to insult Amaram as Dalinar tries to get information out of the distracted man. And Amaram asks why no one has killed Wit yet. Wit just replies it's dumb luck, because he's lucky everyone else is so dumb. Before Dalinar could pull Amaram away, Wit bows to Amaram and says that he is a creature that Sadeas only wishes he could be. Amaram finally tells Dalinar that the papers are accounts of Dalinar's visions, although Amaram says he believes in them and feels good knowing that Dalinar is getting visions from the Almighty. Amaram also doesn't believe that the Almighty is dead, and thinks that his visions just meant that he was dead in the minds of men. All Dalinar could think of is Kaladin's words, asking why Amaram didn't help his sons. So what do you think about Wit's insults to Amaram?
Warranted.
Well, he knows, you know.
Hey, he knows everything though.
Wit obviously believes Kaladin.
Yeah. He knows everything though. So.
You think he knows the things about Amaram that the Ghostbloods want to know?
Probably. He literally knows everything.
So what do you think about Amaram being so accepting of Dalinar's visions?
I mean, personally, my train of thought was, even if he considered them to be true, right?
Mm-hmm.
Technically, that is still like a way to kind of shove him aside for being able to do that, you know?
Well, because Amaram
Like
seems
it can definitely backfire, even though he's trying to turn it.
Yeah, well,
into
because Amaram seems like he's like, your visions are amazing. And I just kind of want to point out that it kind of goes along the lines with how he was very reverent towards the Herald.
That's what I was gonna say.
Yeah.
I was like, wasn't he the same guy who was like all, oh my god, what do you tell me more to that guy who everybody was kind of saying was kind of talking nonsense and shit.
And Dalinar, it sounds like, because I think, well, in this conversation in a minute, he says that Dalinar was the one that sent Amaram to go see this herald, but Amaram doesn't tell him that he believes the man actually is a herald. He's like, oh, I'm investigating. So Amaram has a big thing about the heralds, and so I think he's like very also reverent of Dalinar's. I think this is like one of the few times Amaram's being like super truthful, where he's like, "Oh my god, your visions are amazing. This is the best thing that's ever happened." I think it's one of the few truthful Amaram moments, because Amaram is hiding a lot of shit, obviously.
The truthful lie, yeah.
I know Pattern would love it.
So what, he just wants? What does he want? Like to find the swords?
I don't think we know exactly what he wants just yet. It sounds like he wants to find the swords that. I mean, yeah, I know mostly.
Mostly? How do you mostly know?
There's a lot of secrets still. The series isn't finished.
Wait, there's still secrets about this?
There's still a lot of secrets.
Oh my god.
As Kelsier would say, there's always another secret.
Lying around the corner, yeah.
So Dalinar asks Amaram about the supposed herald, and Amaram replies that he's still investigating. Amaram then mentions that Dalinar has left Kaladin in charge of his guard. Dalinar replies that Kaladin is a good guard, but he has some scars to work through and thinks that he has his own as well. Amaram states he would like an apology from Kaladin, but Dalinar doesn't reply, probably because he knows that there's no fucking chance Kaladin's apologizing to Amaram.
Well, I mean, he also said, I hope he put all of that foolish notion behind him, and I'm like, yeah, okay.
Yeah, that's not happening.
You and Kaladin both know it ain't foolish.
And
What
Adolin
do you
knows.
mean? We get him apologizing to Shalon this this episode.
I mean, he says she's not as bad as the other Light Eyes. I don't know if that's a full apology.
That's as big as an apology as you're gonna get.
Probably. So Navani then finally gets over to them, swatting Wit in the face with a stack of papers when he tries to insult her. She tells Dalinar and Amram that her words have been changed to make it seem like she's just indulging in Dalinar, and the changes make everything seem so serious. Dalinar asks if the actual visions were changed, which they were not, so he tells Navani that he isn't concerned. Navani is still upset, but Dalinar says he will not be embarrassed by the truth. Navani knows that this is hurting Dalinar, and he thinks that those notes that Navani took were supposed to be private, and he can see people not just looking at him with amusement, but also pity. Dalinar wanders over to a table and stands on it. He can see Adolin and Shalon rushing towards the feast, likely after reading the papers that had been circulating. Dalinar announces that his visions are true, although the commentary was changed to be mocking. He tells them that he will be vindicated as his visions are proven true, and that he will publish any future ones that he has. Dalinar also says he will go around to speak to everyone, and if they are to laugh at him, at least to do it while looking him in the eyes. So what do you think about Dalinar's reaction?
I love that he decided to run with it, because all publicity is good publicity if you know how to use it.
Mm-hmm. He's like, you may laugh at me now, but I will prove that these are real, and then you will feel bad for mocking me. Yeah, what did you think, Darkness, about how Dalinar handled the reveal of his visions?
I was terrified because, like, I feel like most things can be turned against you regardless of how you try to put them. It's just like all of like environmental circumstance, and we know that it's like itching in the back of my head where like we know that Sadia's wife is still a thing, right?
Yeah, Sadius' wife. I think Sadius last time the one time we had his point of view, he like told her that he wanted to like start working on discrediting Dalinar and then like having him assassinated afterwards. And we know that both those things have come out here. Been trying to discredit, and then they try to assassinate him.
That was a terrible idea too. 2 Shardbearers involved. That was a terrible idea.
But yeah, so do you think then that Sadius and Eli were the ones who stole and revealed Dalinar's visions?
Probably, but I mean, I still feel like Nirvani or whatever had her hand in it.
I feel like this is just the beginning of that, though.
Supposedly he's dead, so.
Well, Calvin says Dalinar's corpse wasn't down there, so unless the Parshendi killed him.
Or they took his body.
Or they took his body,
No,
that's very true.
Dalinar is not dead.
Because, like, didn't they have, like, a thing about him in general being able
Well,
to
they want
use-
his. I'm sure they would at least want his. Well, no, he doesn't even have Shardplate anymore. Because I was gonna say they would want his Shardplate, but he gave that to Redoran. I mean, Ash and I had a thing about him, but I don't know if she still cares now that she's in storm form. But yeah, it seems Dalinar definitely didn't die to the falling of the bridge. So if he is dead, then he died to the Parshendi probably, or to whatever battle happened up there afterwards. Because otherwise we would have seen his corpse down below the chasms.
True.
Yeah.
What about Adolin? Where's Adolin at?
Adolin was the one who went to try and rescue his dad, and Kaladin specifically checked for his body too, so we know that neither of them died to the fall of the bridge. But anything could have happened afterwards. We don't have any point of views from either of them afterwards, so at least on this episode, so we'll have to see if they come up again or not.
We'll get to it. Never mind, because we're not that.
Yeah, we'll get to that.
Conversation about it.
So we move forward to hours later when Dalinar finally sits down after going around talking to everyone. Exhaustion spread all around him. Elhokar and Navani were headed back to the palace already, and Adolin had also left to escort Shalon back to Savario's war camp. Dalinar feels inclined to encourage the relationship, as Adolin seems to be quite interested in her, more so than others he had dated, although he wished he could get some information about her family out of Yaakoved. Dalinar watches as servants fish out spears out of the flooded rivers between the small islands, and his bridgeman guards are eating some of the feast leftovers. Suddenly, Wit comes up next to him, not insulting him, but praising him for how he handled the attack. He also mentions how Elhokar didn't really need him tonight, because instead everyone came to Dalinar. Dalinar asks Wit if he's a tyrant, and Wit says he is, but in times like these, a benevolent tyrant is better than a weak ruler. Dalinar states that he should be allowing Elhokar his right to rule, as what he and Gavilar and Sadius did in the past was wrong. Wit says they were right to unite the kingdom, but Dalinar says that this isn't true unity. So do you agree with Dalinar or Wit about whether it was right to unite Alethkar?
Obviously, Wit's always right, so it has to be Wit.
Elhokar? Did he say unite Elhokar?
Unite Alethkar.
Uh.
Sorry, my voice is still a little fucked up as I'm still getting over my sickness.
I forgot you were sick.
Yep, I got sick last weekend and I'm still getting over it this weekend.
Yeah. Well,
I want to say he tried, and technically it could have gone right,
So you think Wit's right that it was better to unite them than not?
Yeah.
So Downer mentions Nohadon, and Wit replies that he'll need to read that book again. Wit then says he'll be leaving again soon. He has somewhere he needs to be, although he isn't sure why. Downer asks...
Another fucking, like, singularity.
Downer asks if Wit is a herald or a radiant, but Wit replies that he is just a man, which that's not fucking true. I highly doubt that Wit is just a man.
But he asked him specifically if he is a herald or a radiant.
Which he's
didn't
not.
ask him if he's,
was anything else.
Yeah, exactly. So what he said wasn't a lie.
I mean, he does, but then Wit says he's
them,
just a man.
But no, to them, he is just a man.
I guess.
Like, they don't have a word for him.
It's true. They probably
He's not a
don't.
man. He's a wit.
Yeah, he's a wit.
Wit then says that although they are friends, their goals do not completely align, and Downer must not trust him. He says that if he needs this world to crumble and burn to get what he needs, he will do so, even with tears in his eyes. Although he does say he will do what he can to help, but that he cannot find him, as his work here is extremely dangerous. Downer asks who this he is, and Wit replies that he is the one who Downer fights, the father of hatred. So yeah, what do you think Wit's goal is if potentially it could cause Roshar to crumble and burn?
That's a lot to unpack.
I still think he wants to be the vessel of the god.
Adonasium.
Yeah, that's it. Wants to bring Adonasium back.
What do you think Wit's goal is, Darkness? Or at least his goal here, because he says his goal here isn't completely the same with Downer's.
He didn't say it was the opposite either, though.
No, he did. He says they don't completely align. So he says they do partially align, but just not fully.
So,
what the fuck was Dalinar's goal?
I don't even think Dalinar knows, to be honest.
Well, that was going to be my next question, is what do you think Wit believes Dalinar's goal is?
I have no idea, bro. I don't know what Dalinar is doing at this point.
Aside from fucking up, I don't think Dalinar's doing much of anything.
That's valid.
Well, Wit says that Downer fights the father of hatred.
Whoever's talking to him, which is what we've assumed was Honor, right? Or something like that.
Well, the father of hatred, he's referring to odium, or race.
Race. Of course, it's hatred. Race is definitely hatred.
That's how you spell race.
Okay. I gotta go look. Still, race is still the way it's pronounced.
Yeah. But yeah, so, Wit seems to have an idea of what Dalinar's end goal is going to be, and, Wit's like, I have a similar goal, but it's not the same.
Dalinar is
and I'll watch the world burn.
I will watch the world burn if I need to.
And cry about it later, because it's,
It's like, I'll feel bad about it, but I'll do it if I have to.
The way he talks is like, if it was me having a conversation with him, I'd be like, wait, what? Like, you don't speak like a normal person.
I mean, Dalinar probably is like, what the fuck? As Wit leaves, he's probably like, excuse me? What?
Did Wit appear in the short stories?
In the Arcanum and Bound stories, he's, I believe, mentioned in a couple of them, but I don't believe he appears in any of them except for Mistborn's Secret History. He's mentioned, because he's the person who's, in Emperor's Soul, stole this, like, the scepter that Shai wanted.
Okay.
I don't think he's mentioned at all in Six of Dusk.
Shai again?
Shai was the main character in Emperor's Soul.
But which one was that? What was that?
She was the one with the stamp powers.
Why do I not remember that? Okay.
She literally stamped the Emperor's soul to give him his personality back.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, she was a thief. Remember, she wanted to steal the Moon Scepter.
Yeah, I remember that now. Yeah.
She calls him like the Jester or something. Stole it instead. But yeah, so I don't think he's in any of the other. I don't think he's mentioned at all in any of the other ones. As I said, except for Mistborn's Secret History, but that's not even fully like a short story. It's almost like a novella.
Novella.
Oh, you had us read novellas? Oh my goodness.
Yeah, so we go on to chapter 68, Bridges. The epigraph is, however, it seems to me that all things have been set up for a purpose. As if we, as infants, stumble through the workshop, we risk exasperating, not preventing, a problem. So, do you think Wit may be causing more problems than he is fixing by interfering in the other planets?
100%. I mean, I think he's destroying planets. So, his end goal, he doesn't give a shit. He'll watch the world burn.
What do you think, Darkness?
That's what I was gonna ask. Okay. Do we? How many shards are still alive from where he's been?
What we know.
From still alive? Oh, you mean for
From where
planets
he's
he's
been.
been to?
Yeah.
Well, we obviously don't know if he's been to planets that haven't had stories yet, because like Brandon can write anything into wherever on the
Right.
timeline.
No, but like so far.
But he's been to Elantris. Both those shards are dead, but we got confirmation that Odium killed them.
Right.
Ambition was also killed by Odium. And as far as we know, I don't think he has been to Threnody. I don't think he's been to the planet where Ambition was. Not at least that we've seen, at least. He's been to Scadrial, but technically the shards are still alive as Sage took both of them. So the vessels are dead, but vessels do come and go.
Right, but at the point where he was there, they had shattered anyway.
No, the powers never shattered
Like,
on
they
Scadrial.
died, I mean, whatever.
The vessels eventually did
Yeah.
die, but Sage took them. The powers did not die. It's a very different thing that the
Well,
powers
to be
being
fair,
shattered
we
versus
also
the
just-
vessels.
We also that like fucking world is still ongoing. He could still be there. And
Yeah, he could
like,
go
do
back.
that,
We
right?
don't know. Yeah. I mean, there's other Mistborn eras, so he can definitely go back and do something. But for now, the powers are both fine. Both the shards are combined into I don't know. Actually.
Harmony, yes.
Okay, yeah. I was like, did we get the confirmation of the word
Uh-huh.
harmony?
Uh-huh.
Okay. So they got combined into harmony.
All of it, if you remember.
And what other planets are there? Endowment's fine. He was on Nalthus, and Endowment is fine. As far as we're aware, she's completely perfectly okay. Is that all of them? Oh, there's technically also autonomy on White Sand. I don't think we saw Hoyd on that planet though. But as far as we're aware, autonomy is also fine.
Okay.
I think, and then there's this planet. I think that's all of them that we have so far.
Okay.
What's your brain cooking up there, Darkness?
Well, at this point, we gotta wait till we read the other stuff. But
So we switch to Kaladin's point of view as he walks across the plateaus of the Shattered Plains, remembering the horrible time of men around him being slaughtered by the Parshendi arrows. He wonders if he could have saved more men if he accepted his powers sooner. Kaladin tries to breathe in
Yes.
Stormlight, but finds himself unable to.
What stupid question is that?
He urgently calls out for Syl, having to go find her before she joins him, and he is able to breathe in the Stormlight again. Syl is extra childlike and confused, and Kaladin asks what is wrong with their bond. Syl just replies that he's been naughty, and Kaladin thinks that this is about the promise to Moash. Kaladin thinks that Syl has too idealistic a view of morality, and that life was messier than that. Kaladin tells Syl that she expects too much of him, that he's broken, and Syl just replies that all the Radiants were broken. Kaladin is frustrated, thinking that Syl might pull away his powers every time he does something she doesn't like. So what were your first thoughts about Kaladin not being able to breathe in Stormlight? Unless close to Syl.
He did it to himself. He did it to himself. I don't think it's Syl. I think it's himself.
What do you think, Darkness? What were your first thoughts on that?
I'm fully convinced it's still.
There's something coming up in here about it that, like, I've been trying not to say, because, like, every time Darkness is like, oh my god, I hate this, and I'm like, there's reasons, and I can't say it because it's not been revealed yet. You're supposed to be angry. Yeah, so Kaladin...
That you're supposed to be angry?
So, like, because you're in Kaladin's head, so you're kind of supposed to kind of also see from Kaladin's point of view, like, why is Syl being like, this is the right thing and this is the wrong thing? Like, I think it's a common reaction to kind of be angry about, like, how it feels like Kaladin has no choice in what is right and wrong. But we learn in this chapter that is not the reason that he's losing his powers. It is not because he chose something that Syl didn't like. We'll get to that in a moment. So Kaladin wanders over to the members of Bridge 4, who had brought their bridge, even though Dalinar had his mechanical ones with them. Kaladin speaks to the man briefly, who are laughing and drinking water that Lopen had brought. Kaladin then heads over to Dalinar, who is speaking to a vaulter, a man who vaults shallow chasms with a long pole to get to the scouting plateaus. The man is talking about seeing something glowing and flying around, insisting he isn't crazy, but Dalinar replies it was likely the assassin in white, even though that was definitely Kaladin he saw. Dalinar then glances towards Renarin, who is helping Bridge 4 carry their bridge. He mentions to Kaladin that he's worried about Renarin using Bridge 4 as a distraction, as he hadn't gone to train with Zahel or even summoned his Shardblade since the duel. Kaladin replies that Renarin is a bit of an outcast, and thus Bridge 4 is likely the best place for him, and Dalinar accepts Kaladin's judgment. As Kaladin heads off back to his men, he thinks that he wants to get read Dalinar's visions at some point, and wonders if they are why Syl trusts Dalinar so much. So what do you think about Renarin refusing to use his Shardblade since the duel?
Would owning... is it binded to him? It is, right?
Yes, because he's able to dismiss it, so it is bound to him at this point.
Okay, so would owning it, or actually, is it just Syl that doesn't like the blade, or is it all Spren?
Pattern hasn't said anything about Shardblades.
Yeah, we haven't heard
Syl
from
says
her.
that they're wrong and that Shardblades in the past were not wrong. So she's not really against Shardblades. She's against like current Shardblades, just not the Shardblades how they were in the past.
Yeah.
And then Kaladin, when he touched a Shardblade, he heard screaming, and also the other guy holding the other end of the Shardblade also heard the screaming and like freaked the fuck out.
Wait, so is it just Syl then?
So far, it's only the one that's.
So far, it's just Syl, unless there's something different about Shallan's Shardblade. But as far as we know, it's the exact same, and she's held hers just fine without Pattern freaking out or without her hearing screams. So it might either be Syl or it might be the Shardblade the certain Shardblades that have been around Kaladin. We don't know. But I think after hearing the screams, Kaladin was also like, "Yeah, I don't want to touch that again."
So do we know if the Honor Blades work the same way as the Shard Blades?
So the Honor Blades are slightly different. We know because we know that they give powers.
Yeah, no,
'Cause
but
they can-
besides that, like,
Besides that, they're the same. They just have like the
Okay.
extra. They basically have like the Spren bond built into them without a needed Spren. So they're like Shardblade plus.
Whose blade? He touched a shard blade, correct?
Hmm?
The screaming
blade
came
was
from
it?
a shard blade, right?
Yes, it came from one of the guys in the
Honor
dueling
Blade.
arena that was fighting Adolin. I don't remember which one it was.
okay, well, at this point we don't even know if. At this point, I want to believe that Shallan has the fucking Honor
Honor
Blade at this
blade.
point.
Yeah.
That'd be interesting. Do you think if she has an honor blade, do you think it's the honor blade that gives the that would be related to the Lightweavers, or do you think it would be a different one?
That'd be pretty cool. If somebody who has the bond with a Spren gets a different type of Honor Blade, would they get all four of
Both
those
powers?
powers?
I believe so. Yes.
What if you dual wield them? Can you just dual wield them?
Maybe. I think Adolin says that dual wielding shard blades is like very impractical, but like if you're getting powers from them, I wouldn't see why not. Like why you wouldn't.
Because at that point, I'm just gonna Zoro them.
Three sword style.
You start like
That'd be
strapping the
hilarious.
blades all over you.
I'm gonna be a porcupine.
So then you'd be the octopus from One Piece, not Zoro.
Well, I wouldn't know. I just know Zoro.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, you over here being a nerd, I ain't.
That reminded me, I randomly saw like a balcony with a One Piece like flag towel thing on it the other day.
I don't want to get off topic here, but so there's a cafe outside, like not that far away from where I live.
Oh
that I
yeah.
didn't know about. It actually is across from one of the hotels that I stayed at.
Oh yeah.
I had no idea about it, but I wanted to go there yesterday, and when I went over there were shitload of people, just a lot of people, like, and they were in cosplay
Oh,
and all this
damn.
other shit, and I was like, I want to find out what's going on, but at the same time, I don't really want to ask questions because I'm an introvert.
I'm assuming there must
I
have been
would've
like a
gone in there.
convention or something.
I don't know. It was weird. It was like a mini convention.
Damn.
I would have gone in there and asked, only because
Yeah, that's darkness though.
no, but it's only because they're in like cosplay, so you can't, like sleep lower than that.
Wow.
Wow. Okay.
What are they gonna do? Judge me?
Yes.
Not if I judge them first.
Okay. That's how that
Wow.
works. You're right.
Cosplay's awesome. There's some
It is.
cool shit people do.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Hey, you should have seen some of these cosplays. They were actually
It's
really
also
cool.
nerdy.
So
Yeah.
we're all nerds here,
Yeah.
Darkness, including you.
No, I don't know what you're talking about.
Uh-huh.
Jesus, darkness.
Darkness, you're literally a VTuber.
Yeah.
I am not.
You are.
Says who?
Says everyone. Says yourself.
That's your stream.
Actually, I use a PNG.
VNT tubers are also
VTuber.
VTubers. Anyways, as they continue their march, Kaladin thinks about how they're doing all this just so Shallan can see a chrysalis. Adolin rides over to Kaladin, joking about how Kaladin should be riding more, but Kaladin replies that he trusts his feet more than a horse. He holds a diamond chip up to his chest, but is unable to breathe it in. Kaladin glances around, but is unable to find Syl. Eventually he catches her watching a small Kremling, and he asks her if she is punishing him. Then he realizes that she's acting how she had when they first met, and he worries that their bond is weakening. Syl tells Kaladin that he needs to make a decision, and he says he'll back out of his plan with Moash, but Syl replies that he gave his word to Moash, and Kaladin realizes that he also gave his word to Dalnar to protect Alucard. Suddenly he realizes that the problem isn't what Syl views as right, but that he gave two conflicting vows. Kaladin wonders what happens to an honor spren when no matter what choice you made, you had to break a vow. Kaladin asks Syl what he needs to do, and she replies that he needs to find the words and speak them. Syl then says that backing out of this deal with Moash won't work, as they are too far for that. So what do you think about the fact that the real issue with Kaladin's bond and powers are his conflicting oaths to Dalinar and Moash, and not what Syl thinks is right?
Told you it was all his fault.
Yup.
Technically, that's still like the same fucking pattern that I was talking about the powers that I don't like.
It's not really though, because at least when I was trying to argue with you previously about it, because you were saying that like you didn't like that kind of, it seemed like Syl made the decisions, but the thing is, although Syl didn't like him going after Elhokar, it's not what broke their bond. It's the fact that he promised Moash that he'd help Moash get rid of Elhokar, when he's also promised Dalinar that he would like protect Elhokar. If he had never made that promise to Dalinar, even if Syl was unhappy, his powers would be fine. But because he made the promise to Dalinar and then to Moash that they conflict each other, he can't keep his promise or like his honor to both of them.
Also, why didn't Syl just tell him that though?
Syl doesn't even know it.
Well, she clearly does, because she explains
But
it.
Yeah, but like she doesn't know. Like she
And
knows
she
that
explains it
he
in
did
her dumb state.
Yeah, exactly. I think she has. There's probably something else that goes with it. Like she can't explain things like that.
Well,
Something else
because the
that-
thing is,
as long as they don't explain why she can't explain stuff like that, then I'm.
Well,
I'm pretty much
the
in
reason
favor
she
of
can't
Syl.
explain things is I believe her and Pattern have both talked about how when they traveled from the cognitive realm, Shadesmar, to the physical realm, it basically like completely stripped away all of their like intelligence and memories. So she and Pattern have both been slowly regaining their memories and their like intelligence as their radiant like progresses in their oaths. That's why Pattern was like a dumb little spren jumping up and down on a bed at one point, and Syl was just acting like a wind spren being all childish, is because
Right.
they lost all of their memories and intelligence. So she probably didn't like she keeps saying like throughout this book and the last book, she's like, I feel like I should know these things, but I don't. I can't remember them. And it's because like when she transferred over from Shadesmar, she forgot everything about her abilities and her abilities with a Radiant. So she used to know, but she doesn't currently, and she's slowly remembering things. So she may not have remembered, like, why something felt bad, and she was like, and then she's figured out, like, oh, it felt bad because he's going to be making a conflicting oath.
That's kind of weird though that she's remembering this in her current weakened dumb state.
I think it's also because the bond is, like, so weakened. It's, although she's weakened and, like, struggling, she's also probably feeling, like, how wrong and why it's breaking more strongly.
That's right.
Yeah.
Then at that point, it's not with Syl that I have a problem with. It's just the power in general.
Yeah. I mean, but again, I feel like it's not really an issue, because again, it's like, it's about the fact that he's doing conflicting things, because the point is that he's supposed to be an honorable, because he's a
So what
Windrunner
stops
with
him from
honors.
just making like no promises at all?
Yeah, if he can't keep a promise, he shouldn't make it.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, at that point, you just don't make promises and you won't lose your power.
Yeah, just don't make promises then. The problem is, the people who want to become Windrunners, like, it's in their nature to want to do things to help people. So he's going to want to make promises, because as Kaladin, his
I
personality.
could never be part of that fucking.
That's why you're a will shaper. Will shapers are the ones who are like,
Exactly.
I'ma do my own shit.
That's right, bro. Look all this shit.
That's why you're a will shaper and you're not a fucking Windrunner.
I cannot.
I know, you could not be. You probably
That's
like.
the whole point.
Just the whole point is that you aren't a Windrunner.
Yeah. What was mine again? I forget.
You were Windrunner, Mythic.
Yeah, okay. I mean,
Um,
it's not wrong. I mean, I agree with it, so I can see it.
Yeah.
I see you in a bunch of Kaladin situations, though.
Yeah, I do too. I
Yeah.
100% would be the person who made a promise to somebody and then like it's like, oh shit, I made this promise and I need to not have made this promise specifically.
Yep. Jesus is a
trying to figure out
Windrunner
how
as
to get
well.
it.
Jesus is very much a like, I want to do the greater
we're talking
good.
about the guy. We're talking about the guy who was watching, strippers last night. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, no, he's a Windrunner too.
He was doing what?
Yeah, I hope
In
you
his
put him- I
game,
hope
there
you
were
put him in the
strippers,
doghouse.
apparently.
I hope you put him in the doghouse for that. The heck? I was watching
Crazy.
strippers, and when I said
After
something,
marriage,
was like,
too.
I don't care. Tell her. I was like, all right, I will.
I laughed about it with him.
Non remorse. Yeah, I know. I told him I was gonna tell you, and then he was like, "I know you will."
Yeah, he told me that. He's like, yeah, I think told me he was gonna tell you about that. I didn't care.
I straight up was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna tell her." And then I sent you so many messages.
And that's a Windrunner thing to do. You're like, this is the right thing to do. I'm gonna tell her you're doing bad things. Such a Windrunner.
Tell her you looking at strippers. God damn it.
That's what do you even call that at that point? Orderist?
I mean, I made a clip about it too. So
Nice. I'll have to go
in
check
case
that
you
out.
needed it, in case you needed it, I needed to make a clip on it.
I need proof.
Maybe that's why I'm angry, because these these situations are just not it, man.
I think you're probably angry, Darkness, because I think like the oaths of Will Shapers versus Windrunners are like so opposite. So you're just not a Windrunner person.
Wait,
like,
I know this is like spoilery kind of,
Oh God, here we go. So now we're gonna get an answer then.
but like if she can't answer, I just want to know what kind of restrictions my people would have.
I believe it was restricting people's freedoms was yours.
Oh, that's kind
Yeah,
of
Darkness will never be lose his powers. Don't just be like, yeah, go do whatever the fuck you want. Okay.
No, but then I wouldn't be able to kidnap people.
Oh yeah, you're right. Well, damn, that's how you lose your powers.
So I'm looking at like there's like this circle of like the Radiant like orders, and the Will Shapers are not the exact opposite, but they're pretty far away from the Windrunners. Apparently the exact opposite is Lightweavers, which kind of makes sense because Sills very much never lie, and Pattern's like lie, 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 lie.
Fruitful lies.
But yeah, Will Shapers are pretty far away from Windrunners on the wheel.
Oh, is there a wheel?
Because
Yeah.
remember they all share a ability with each other, so like it goes around in a circle.
Is
But
there a
on the
wheel that I
go
can
round
see?
and round.
Yeah, I was gonna post the wheel. Just let me double check. There's no spoilers in here. I think all it does is it shows the. Yeah, no, I think. Yeah, that's completely fine to share. I believe. Here's the wheel.
What the hell is that?
So those are all the heralds in the middle.
Ah, okay.
So it has like a picture of like each herald that's associated with each order. And then it has the different Radiant orders and like their kind of like.
All those are
name.
those are the names of the heralds.
Yeah, there's the names of the heralds with their matching order, and then like
Wow.
Talenalel.
Talalala. Where is Talalala?
Oh, he's the brown one.
Brownish, right?
Ah, I see.
The stone wards.
He's a
Yeah.
stone lord?
No.
Yeah, he's the patron herald of the
Topaz,
Stone Wards.
amethyst, foil.
Yeah, so they all have like a gemstone associated with them, as well as a I believe the other one is their like
Blood.
yeah, it's their soul casting like what's it called? Essence. It's the essence of related to them. So Windrunner is
Right.
like they're a sapphire, and
Yeah.
Zephyr, which is like air.
Oh, Windrunner here.
And then what is Will Shaper? Will
Yeah, but
Shaper.
yeah,
Yes,
Will Shaper
foil.
and Windrunner aren't the polar opposites. What are you talking about?
I said they're decently far from each other. They're not the polar. I said lightweight.
Foil.
I think foil's like. Is it like. What is foil? Does it name it differently in the back of the book?
What am I keeping food warm?
Yeah, apparently. What's your
I'm a builder?
Kalak. Oh, it's like metal. Foil's just like metal.
Transportation.
I figured.
Transportation. That's cool.
Yeah, so that's the little. All the different orders and their surges and their gemstones and their essence and their herald.
Clearly, I should have been a edge dancer.
No.
Should have been an edge dancer. Like
You don't even
Lift.
dance.
Yeah, who the fuck is Lift?
Lift was the girl who.
Right,
Right.
the one that's always eating.
Yeah.
Pole.
Loving and
Is that
healing.
like-
You are not loving and healing, Darkness.
What do you mean?
You're definitely more resolute, meaning stubborn.
Wow.
I'm a truth watcher. I'm learned in giving.
Okay.
I'm very close to being a Lightweaver, though. Lightweaver was like within a few percentages of truth watcher for me. I just realized that Lightweaver's fucking thing is
You're not honest.
honesty. Why am
Yeah,
I
you're not
honest?
You're not honest.
I'm not.
Well, it's because they gotta be honest about themselves.
It's true.
Is that right? Is that what Shalana is?
Yeah, Shalon's a Lightweaver. That's why I was
Oh,
laughing about the honesty thing.
Yeah. Well, I mean, but where's lies? It doesn't have lies on any of this.
To be fair, the same shit that she does where she lies to people is the same shit that Kaladin is doing where he hates people. And I'm
Yeah.
like,
What's her? What would her thing be?
What do you mean?
Who's
Like, what would stop her powers?
If she lies, if she starts like repressing her memories that she's been
Yeah. if
Oh
she's,
yeah,
like-
yeah,
Joining.
okay.
So I'm
lying to
assuming
herself.
that's what like we've been over this. That's what happened to her, right? Where she just like fully repressed them.
Yeah, it seems like
And,
that's
like,
what happened, and
restarted
that's why
everything.
she lost her abilities in the past. Is because she like whatever happened with her mom, like she like then fully repressed all of her.
What does resolute
memories.
mean?
Resolute's
I'm
like-
having a little.
It's like stubborn, but like in a good way.
Oh
It's like you're like steadfast. You're.
wait.
Resolute
So
your
does that mean I have to
decisions.
be stubborn or stop being stubborn?
I think it means you're allowed to be stubborn as long as you're being stubborn for good reasons.
Wait, but how does that work? If I'm being stubborn, right? Like let's say I'm talking to someone and I'm trying to prevent them from doing something because I'm stubborn, right? And like this is wrong or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Wouldn't that just like stop them from their freedom?
No, I think you're supposed to be resolute in the fact of like protecting people's freedoms.
Oh, so like let them do what they want to do. You can't
Yeah,
stop
so
them, type of shit.
The dictionary definition of resolute is admirably purposeful, determined, and unwavering.
Oh, you see that? I'm just like great on great.
I mean, they're always supposed to be like positive traits.
And then I'm
On
apparently
here.
a builder. What am I building? I have no idea. It ain't
I
walls.
think you're
that's for
building
sure.
you're building up people's rights in society.
Am I just like a protester? What's happening?
Yeah, you probably would be a protester.
Amethyst is pretty cool though.
I'm jealous that the Windrunners get the sapphire. Sapphire's my favorite stone.
Sapphire is pretty cool.
Emerald's pretty good though. I like cool tone colors, blues, purples, and greens.
That's giving me like flashbacks to when we were talking about Pokemon and our birthstones.
Oh yeah, forgot
And
about
how
that.
our corresponding favorite games were like our corresponding.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
We totally didn't go on a tangent in the middle of the podcast.
Yeah, let's continue with the podcast.
Oh, why would we do that? That's not like us.
Where was I even? Oh yeah, here
Exactly, that's not like us.
it was. As the mechanical bridge begins to lower to the next plateau, Shalon hurries over, shouting for them to stop as she wants to sketch the bridge partway down, but her porters were moving too slowly for her to catch it the previous times. As the bridge then continues to be lowered, Kaladin thinks they are too slow and have too many potential difficulties. To Kaladin, the best way to use bridges is armored bridgemen who are protected by the army. Kaladin recognizes one of the carpenters helping with the bridge and wonders if he used to be one of Dalner's soldiers. And he's definitely not. We learned that later this chapter.
Oh.
It's like, hey, I recognize that guy.
Wonder why?
Then
What do you
Moesh
mean?
distracts him. Goddamn Moesh. So-
That
Yeah,
was part of the plan.
it was. 100%.
Mosh was in on it.
Maybe. Well,
No, I'm being that ass.
Maybe.
Moesh says that he wants Dalnar to become king.
Yeah, but he knows Dalnar won't die, you know.
So Moesh then comes over, wearing his shard plate and his shard blade strapped to his back. Kaladin notes that after only a week, he walks in the plate easily, and his eyes have been lightening from brown to tan. Moesh salutes Kaladin, but What'd you say?
He's turning into a light eyes. Oh no!
He is.
How is
Now
Dalnar
Kaladin's
gonna
gonna
die
hate
if
him.
he's blessed by the Almighty?
Kaladin's gonna hate him now because he's turning into a light eyes.
Oh,
Tell me I'm wrong.
Moesh, best friendship with Moesh broken. Yeah, so Moesh salutes Kaladin, but Kaladin replies that Moesh outranks him now, although Moesh insists that he'll never outrank Kaladin, as Kaladin is his captain, and he's not really a light eyes. Moesh didn't spend
No, not at all.
Moesh didn't spend every night with them anymore, dealing with his new quarters as he suddenly had land and a bunch more money. Kaladin thinks that it was one of the reasons he didn't want to reveal his powers, as he was worried about the distance it would bring him with Bridge 4, although he thinks he's doing just as good of a job about losing his powers himself. So yeah, what did you think about Moesh's lightning eyes? Apparently the tales were true. Your eyes do become lighter when you get a shard blade.
Actually, he's using bleach and injecting it
actually.
into his eyeball.
Oh my god.
Actually. No, that's
Yeah.
the way Darkness said it. Actually.
Yeah, so they've proven the story's true that if you gain a shard blade as a dark eyes, your eyes will become that of a light eyes.
That's valid.
So Moesh then mentions they are getting closer to the assassination of the king, but that Kaladin won't need to do much. Their current plan is to hit the king with an arrow, and Kaladin thinks it sounds cowardly. Kaladin then goes over to Adolin and Shalon. Adolin brings up the assassin being seen out here, but Kaladin says it would be a good place for them to fight. Good place for them to fight him, since there are no walls or ceilings for him to leap around on to disorient them. And they have tons of archers to deal with him flying. Adolin then tries to ask Kaladin for advice on women as they walk away from Shalon, as he states that he is good at getting women, but not at keeping them. Kaladin, however, replies that Adolin is asking the wrong person, as he's had very little time to think about women.
Yeah, why would I know? God damn.
He's like, yeah, I'm not the person to ask. Aidlin's just trying to bond with him.
Yeah, Oh my god, when Shallan just starts. Oh, I was like, girl, you don't know shit. Shut the fuck up. This man continues to call him Bridge Boy.
It's a
And if she
cute
does it-
nickname now.
No, but she
not.
does it too, which angers me.
Yeah, she's not allowed to. Only Adolin can.
Also, does that mean that Kaladin is technically a virgin?
Yes,
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he is.
Kaladin's a virgin.
Oh, that's crazy.
He became a slave at like 15. I don't think he's had time to.
Well, I mean, technically.
I mean, he could have had sex with somebody in the
Yeah.
barrack
Mhm.
or whatever. On the
I
slave,
mean,
so-
he could have, but it doesn't seem like that's Kaladin's priorities.
But he could have.
He does mention a girl named Tara in his thoughts here, though. Apparently, he had a girl he tried to at least flirt with,
He's
but it
Beast
didn't
Boy.
go well.
Guys, he's Beast Boy.
It didn't go well.
Well, yeah, I mean, he kind of thinks that he's like that didn't really go over that well.
He's Beast Boy. Oh my goodness.
Adolin then tries to get Kaladin to admit about his powers, but Kaladin can tell Adolin really has no knowledge on why he's competent on fighting the assassin in white without a shard blade. He's like, the thing that you do, you know, the thing. I love it so much.
Yeah, the thing.
And Kaladin's like, the thing. Right.
Yes, because I totally know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Kaladin smiles and tells Adolin that he doesn't have any idea what he's talking about. They then move to discuss strategy on fighting the assassin, and Kaladin insists that Adolin should always strike to kill, as he saw the assassin heal himself. Adolin agrees, saying that he does trust Kaladin. So yeah, what do you think about Adolin trying to be friends with Kaladin now?
Calling him Bridge Boy in the beginning just kind of does not help with that.
Adolin's a good boy. He wants
No,
to be
he's not.
best
He's alright.
friends. He's gonna replace Moash, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
Who needs Moash? We only need Adolin here.
I'm concerned about Renarin.
How come?
It's like leaving a child with a fucking fork and an outlet, surrounded by other children that have the same mentality.
You don't trust him with the shard blade?
No.
Nope, not at all.
Knowing him, he's probably gonna be like, Bridgman's gonna be like, oh, can I see it or some shit? And he's like, yeah, go ahead.
Then instantly the bridgeman accidentally cuts off Renarin's arm by swinging it awkwardly.
And then he's gonna get a mechanical arm and it's over.
Renarin becomes RoboCop.
Okay, the tangent just keeps going, doesn't it?
So Adolin and Kaladin then follow Shallan around as she looks at moss and rocks, sketching them and inspecting them. Kaladin and Adolin talk a bit of strategy as well, as joke around a bit at how excited Shallan is over the moss. She then asks Adolin to slay the moss and rocks for her, and he does slice them in half with his shard blade. As Adolin goes to get water, Kaladin glances over at the rock that Shallan is inspecting. At first he thinks she is digging the rock using the layers of creme, but then realizes that the stone beneath the creme seems quarried, and thus that there must have been a structure here in the past. Shallan then gets angry at Kaladin for how he's treating Adolin, stating that Adolin is trying to get along with him, and that Kaladin needs to stop being so hateful. She gestures to where Adolin is getting along with the water boys and groomsmen, and Kaladin eventually walks away to carry the bridge with his men. After a few hours, they neared the chrysalis. As they pause for the mechanical bridge, Kaladin can't think of how long it will take Dalinar to get to the center of the plains where the Proshendi are. So do you agree with Shallan that Kaladin should be nicer to Adolin?
I think Kaladin just needs to be nicer to everybody.
I do think he should be nicer to Adolin, but I also think it's pretty. Well, it was pretty valid before he decided to, join him in jail.
Yeah, no, they definitely had a mutual hatred for each other before the whole jail thing. But I feel like, considering Adolin's been, like, the one person to be like, yeah, I totally believe you about Amram. Like, at least, like, the only Light Eyes. I feel like he should be like, hey, this guy's okay. Maybe I should give him a break. He stayed in jail with me. He believes me about Amram.
At that point, I know Dalinar saved him or whatever because pardoned all his men and shit.
Yeah.
But Adolin is literally fucking accepting him,
Yeah.
Man, I stayed in jail with you, even though I was like in a cell that was pretty much, luxury compared to what you were in. But yeah, I stayed in a jail with you. Don't worry.
Adolin also needs a good friend, because all his friends apparently abandoned him once Sadeas was recruiting them to go against Dalinar. His friend even fought him in the duel. He's like, oh, my, closest friend is fighting me. This is shitty. He's threatening to go kill my brother if I don't cooperate. Like, Adolin needs some good friends.
No, Kaladin's not a good friend, so...
Kaladin could be a good friend. If he tried. If he stopped being an asshole.
Kaladin makes
What do you mean? He's literally just doing what he gotta do.
He's being grumpy. So Kaladin overhears Dalinar sending out orders to the scouts to keep an eye out for good routes for them to use during their assault at the Proshendi. Calvin then mentions to Downer that he heard about Downer making some mobile bridges as the mechanical ones were too slow. Downer replies that he'll have the soldiers carry them, but Calvin replies that the bridgemen probably wouldn't mind running the bridges. Running the bridges. Running the bridges when not under Sadius's control. A carpenter, the same one Calvin had noticed before, calls Downer back across the bridge, and Calvin suddenly realizes where he recognizes him from, Sadius's war camp. Adolin sees Calvin running and begins looking for danger, and Calvin yells at him to get to the carpenter. Calvin rushes for Shallan, and Adolin rushes for Downer as horns sound, signaling that the enemy is approaching. The bridge lurches and then collapses as the carpenter moves the lever. So what did you think about this attempt on Downer's life?
Well, first of all, I was screaming, why the fuck is there a lever?
Well, Shallan explains later why there's a lever.
Yeah, right. I was gonna say I knew when he said like when she explained what the lever was originally, I was like, that makes sense. But people are coming across it, like you need to be able to just
Having the
make
lever
it
there
give way.
doesn't make sense anyway. If people are gonna chase you right after, drop the bridge.
That's what the lever does.
That's what the lever does.
No, literally, push it off.
I think that's too.
No.
It's too heavy to do that. Because
Yeah,
it's the big
right,
mechanical one. It's not the one that the bridgemen were carrying.
Isn't it the one with wheels and shit?
Okay.
It's got a big siege tower attached to it so that it can lower the bridge up and down.
Darkness. You know how they have bridges that go up so that boats can pass?
Yes.
Okay. Would you ask somebody to just push that so that the bridge could go across?
Is it permanently stuck there?
It's
Here, I'm gonna
stuck there
send you.
until they
I'm
move
gonna
it.
send
Is it
you.
permanently stuck there? Is it
No.
possible to move it?
Yes, but it requires a lot of people to move it. This is what it
Then
looks
at
like.
that point, it's worth it, cause shit like this happens.
Do you see how big this thing is?
How big that thing is? Oh Jesus! Wait. Okay. So wait. What?
No, you can literally drop that shit.
You'd have to push the whole giant thing with it would
No,
take
you
lots
wouldn't.
of
You
people.
snap the cords and it's done.
You'd have to get to the cores. It's up at the top. The lever's
So
easier.
you're telling me there's nobody on top?
I don't think so. No.
Then that's a flaw in the design. There should be someone on top managing it.
How does this thing work?
So I believe there's a pulley system that they use via levers at the bottom that
No, there's
raises and
gotta
lowers
be
parts
someone
of
on
it.
top. I'm telling you dead ass, there's gotta be someone on top.
I'm so confused at how this thing works.
Cause even if it I get how it works, but even if if there's no one on top, if that thing jams in the middle of a battle, that's another flawed design that nobody can fix because nobody's on top.
I don't know. They said the lever's the easiest way. That's
I'm
what
just
Shallan
confused
says.
at how this thing works.
It's just a pulley. It's
So basically,
literally
I
just a
believe
pulley.
that the bridge folds in half in the middle, and so it raises it from the center of the bridge using the pulley.
Okay, so how does it get? So it has these two long, wooden things on each side, and then it has the bridge that's in the center of it. They push this whole thing up to a chasm, and then how does the bridge come out of this thing to go across? I don't understand.
So the bridge, I think, is it's just raised up in the air when they're traveling with it.
Huh? But if you look at the picture, it looks like it's only got one of the panels up.
No, it's folded in half. It's got two panels. It's folded in a triangle,
mhm.
like a tent shape.
So it slides it from it's a total it covers the whole beams from the bottom and then it just slides it up, and then it unfolds it across.
Yeah, see, there's no way that they do this with manpower. You wouldn't be pushing these giant wooden things across, and then it's just. I mean, obviously you need other shit. It makes sense to me on why you would need that lever, to be honest.
It doesn't to me. You could literally just cut that shit. It's not that difficult.
How? Whoa, wait. What are you cutting?
The pulley, the thing holding the bridge.
But it has the beams there too. You'd have to move the
Oh.
beams as well. The beams are what's holding it mostly.
At that point, it's an easy battle. You're not the ones trying to get across.
What?
Yeah, it's okay, wait. That's like saying, all right, this person's standing on a trap door. Just kick the trap door open while they're standing there instead of pulling a lever which opens the trap door mechanically. The moment you start doing something, those people are going to be like, oh, they're going to try to take the bridge down, and either going to continue to try to push across harder and much, more, or go back.
Regardless of that, can't they just jump the fucking thing?
Yes.
Pershedney?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
100%.
They can jump it, and they also use a lot of arrows, right?
Don't get me wrong, it's stupid because of the exact thing you just said. Pershedney can just jump the chasm, so it's not like it really affects anything unless, I guess, it was used as a trap maybe, and like you put a bridge. But why would they even go across the bridge? They just jump across the bridge and then or a chasm and then attack
Unless the
the other side.
bridge goes across a farther distance than the Perchetti can jump, because they say the Perchetti only jump a certain distance. They have to go to like parts of the plateaus that are like closer together.
But
So
Midnight, at that point,
I
a
don't
bridge
know.
is not gonna help because it's gonna have to be even bigger than that.
That's what I'm saying. Like I don't know if like the bridge goes across farther than the Perchetti can jump or not.
Yeah, I don't know either. It's a weird design, to be honest.
Yeah. Anyways, we're going to chapter 69. Nothing.
No, 69 is nice. What are you talking about?
69 is nothing. It's nothing.
No, 69 is nice.
It's nothing. Our epigraph is Ray's is captive. He cannot leave the system he now inhabits. His destructive potential is therefore inhibited. So what do you think about Race being captive to the Rosharan system?
Well, we're not allowed to capture race anymore. Like, that's a hate crime.
Well, apparently, Honor did. Apparently it was honorable to capture Race.
Yeah, because, Honor has hate crime
Damn.
written in his DNA, so...
Yeah, what do you actually think, though, about Odium being captive to the Rosharan system?
Yeah, well, at this point, they're just pulling a ruin and letting them break, so...
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, the person that's writing to Wit is basically like, yeah, I don't care what Odium does to Roshar, at least he's not going to do anything to anywhere else. It's fine. They can suffer.
Yeah, it's a great idea.
So we continue with Kaladin's point of view as he falls down into the chasms, seeing Shallan and several men in blue uniforms also falling near him. He reaches for Stormlight but is unable to get any, but he refuses to die this way, as the chasms are his. He hears Syl scream as he gets a breath of Stormlight before hitting the ground. A distant voice, like rumbling thunder, asks what Kaladin has done. Kaladin thinks that Syl's scream has sounded too much like the scream he heard when touching the Shardblade during the duel. So what do you think Kaladin did to Syl?
I wonder what. It's not like it was prophesized that he was gonna kill her or anything like that, right?
Stormfather does not sound happy.
He's great. He's super happy.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
What if... I've had this theory already, but what if in order to make a shard blade, you have to basically, obviously kill a little... Wow, I can't think what they're called now.
Spren?
Yeah, Spren. Yeah, kill a Spren that, transforms it into a blade kind of idea. Kind of like she does herself anyways, where she turns into a different forms.
The Ribbon of Light and stuff. Do you think Kaladin's gonna get a Shardblade then, by killing Syl?
I think he already did.
Where do you think the Shardblade is then?
The same place the shard blades go anyways.
Or you think it's just like he could like somehow summon one?
Yeah.
No, it's just auto bonded to him, and he can it's like automatically dismissed. That's why she's not around. What do you think, Darkness?
I think he essentially just completely drained her. Because it says, honestly, I'm assuming he just killed her, Loki.
He like absorbed her to survive.
Yeah.
All right.
I want to believe that it takes a lot more to make Shardblades than just murdering his friend.
I mean, if it takes murdering a sentient Spren, that's pretty difficult compared to murdering
It's
just any
probably a
Spren.
bonded friend that it requires.
So Kaladin begins checking himself for wounds, but luckily finds nothing more than some scrapes and bruises. All of his fears were done, and he wondered if Adolin made it to Dalinar in time to get him off the bridge. He had seen Adolin jump for his father before he fell. Suddenly, Shallan appears as she screams in shock when she sees him. After a moment of surprise, they discuss what happened, and Shallan explains the emergency latch that could cause the bridge to fall into the chasms. Kaladin then glances around, seeing dead soldiers and light-eyed women, but no Dalinar or Adolin. Only he and Shallan survived, and Kaladin assumes that means he must have grabbed Shallan and saved her with his Stormlight. Shallan mentions that she's been awake for a bit, and that she heard fighting above. Kaladin mentions hearing the horns and seeing the Parshendi must have arrived to fight. Kaladin uses one of the spheres Shallan found to check the bodies for any signs of life, and also for equipment and spheres. Shallan asks how they survived, and Kaladin says he heard stories about Windspren saving people from falling, and Shallan seems to accept this answer. So what did you think about Kaladin believing he saved Shallan when it's likely she saved herself and he saved himself?
I was expecting this whole chapter, right?
Mm-hmm.
For them to at least glow, like one of them. Like, come on.
They're both like, oh my god, I totally saved the other person somehow. It's like, no, you saved yourselves.
They're so close. Just a little sparkle. You know?
Well, Kaladin apparently can't do that right now, so it would have to be Shallan.
Okay, so we have an idea of how we don't have an idea actually, but we know that there's a friend that gives out curses and stuff in return.
Oh, the Night Watcher gives a boon and a curse.
Right.
If you go visit her.
Well, we know that's
fucking That's definitely why he can't remember his own wife's name.
Right, right. But we don't know anything else about that Spren.
No, we got a little bit from one of the interludes, I believe, last book, where a guy mentioned that because they lived near where the Night Watcher apparently is, and they're like, oh yeah, everyone goes to see the Night Watcher. This was like my dad's curse and boon. This is my this is the other person who got. But like, besides knowing that it's like a powerful spread and that they call it the old magic, we don't really know much else about the Night Watcher.
But it's like we know it's like a sentient, like all-aware Spren or whatever, right?
Yeah, it seems to be like an intelligent spren that like you go to and like they're basically like I want this thing, and she's like, okay, I'll give you that thing, and then also gives them some sort of curse in return, which doesn't always seem like completely related. It could just be like whatever, because I think there was like one guy who like sees upside down now or something.
Have we gotten any confirmation that heralds themselves didn't have Spren?
I believe we have been. I don't believe like because like we haven't like gotten confirmation from a herald or like anyone who's lived back then, but like every encounter we've gotten is and like what we know about the honor blades from like I think Syl and from some other little bits from like the Parshendi and stuff. It sounds like the heralds definitely did not have Spren. They were gifted these like special powerful blades from honor, and the Spren later on copied the abilities the heralds had and bonded with people to make the Radiance.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, and I believe also that the like traits of each like order is like partially related to like the type of person the herald was, but also it's related specifically to like what the spread value.
So at that point, what's that other god that's supposed to be here?
Cultivation?
Cultivation. That's do we know anything about that?
We really don't know much about cultivation, except for that it seems like the Radiant Orders are a combination of both honor and cultivation's magic, because there's like cultivation spren that are part of the Radiant Orders, because Lift has a cultivation spren. So there's like an honor spren and there's a cultivation spren, and then there's, I believe it's like the powers are like a mixture of both of them.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like how Fair Chemi was a combination of preservation and ruins powers.
At this point in my mind, that Spren is either like a disguise, right? For cultivation themselves. Or somebody's bonded with that Spren for a long, long time.
That'd be crazy. Because like the Night Watcher's been around like I don't even know if we know how long the Night Watcher's been around.
Right, but also Talanalens, right?
Talenala.
He's been around for a long time.
I mean, yeah, but he is a special
So
reason.
Okay, but it's not impossible because considering how many old people are in this fucking.
Yeah.
Because we got that other person he was talking about. We got like all this shit, right?
Yeah. You got talent.
Or what if it's bonded with cultivation? Have you thought of that?
I mean, cultivation is not a spren. She's a shard.
No, what if the spren is bonded?
Oh, you think
with
this?
cultivation?
I wonder if that's possible. If a spren could bond with a shard. Be very interesting.
Because at that point, it wouldn't really need like it would. I would assume it would make it powerful. You know.
Yeah, that would. I think that would.
From the stories.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that would make the spread very, very powerful.
And very, very sentient.
Yeah, because the more powerful the person is, the more sentient the spread becomes.
That fucking. I in my head now that Spren just like 24-hour energy drinks.
They just live off 24 energy.
Yeah.
So Kaladin tries to soothe Shallan's worries about Chasm Fiends being down here, although he does mention flash flooding if a high storm comes. Shallan replies that she's right about that. Kaladin says, and then has her take him to the fallen soldiers, and he ends up taking a spear from one of the corpses. Shallan suggests they wait for Dalinar to come back for them, but quickly realizes that won't happen. Kaladin states that they'll be assumed dead, but maybe they can wait for Dalinar's expedition out to the Parshendi. Shallan, however, states that he's waiting for the final high storm before he comes out, which is tomorrow night. So apparently Dalinar's gonna go on this expedition, like, soon. Like, 2 days in the book.
But it's gonna be, like, near the freaking event thing, right?
Well, I think they said during the feast that it was 11 days away.
No, the event, the freaking, what is it, like New Year's or whatever?
Oh, yeah, it's gonna happen during the weeping on, like, around Light Day.
Which, how many days is that away from the day they were singling out in the like writing on the wall?
It's Light Day was not the specific day on. I forget when they said it was, but I remember Navani saying at
I know
one
it was
point that
after
it
or
wasn't.
right before.
Yeah, it was either like a couple days before or a couple days after. Considering the weeping is several weeks long, I'm assuming it's before the Light Day, because Light Day is in the middle, and I think it was like they said like 4 weeks of like no high storm or something like that.
That's
So-
gonna fucking kill all the. You know, Radiance just pulled their like light.
Yeah, there's gonna be no new
Stormlight
Stormlight
in
during the
January.
weeping,
Yeah,
because there's gonna be no high storms for 4 weeks, so that's no new Stormlight for 4 whole weeks.
that's the big issue.
That could be a big issue, especially if shit's going down.
Or hear me out. The Parshendi all summon a storm. That's actually like.
I mean,
high
they want to summon a storm, so maybe they can get
Right,
Stormlight from
but
that storm.
Yeah, they do it in the form of like them doing it throughout like the whole 4 weeks.
Are you worried about getting Stormlight during the Weeping Mythic?
Not really.
No.
I'm over here giving myself headcanon on my own spren,
Oh,
and then murdering my spren by not following my oath.
oh my
So it turns
gosh.
into a blade,
Oh
and
my
then I can wield her
gosh.
forever.
You'll always
having
hear
a
the
whole other
screams. Just hear just fantasizing in the background. Okay, where was
I
I?
don't think I can murder my spren. I feel like if because as long as it's not like an honor spren, I'm great. Like I'd be.
Yeah, it's not
too
gonna be an honor
emotionally
spren.
attached.
Your spread's all about freedom and stuff like that. The way to break
Wait,
your
which one
bond.
do I have?
I forget. I think it was it the light spread? Because it was like we found
Yeah.
it funny that you had a light
Light
spread when your
spread,
darkness.
Didn't I say it didn't look like light though? Didn't I say it looked like fog or some shit?
It does kind of, doesn't it? For sure.
I'm pretty sure.
I was trying to scroll all the way up. Oh, I found it. Here, let me just.
Oh yeah, yours was I think the light spread was the bottom left.
Left one? Yeah.
Yeah, the like orange
That
one.
should look like wood.
I'm trying to load the copper mine to remember what it looks like in like when it's
The actual
in
form?
yeah when it's in physical. No, that's what they look like in Shadespar. What they look like in the physical realm.
Calvin's going to be the first one without a sword. He's going to have a spear.
That's what I was thinking. I'm always hoping, like in my head, that if he ever gets a shardblade or something like that, it's gonna be a stream.
Yeah, so they apparently just look like a ball of light in the physical realm, almost like a
Oh.
comet when they move
So
around.
I'm like Link from Zelda.
You got like a little ball of light that
Hey, listen. Hey, listen.
it just doesn't have the little wings.
Hey, listen.
Says who? I'm sure they can make a little wing. A little wing.
I mean, Syl can become like all these different things. So
And-
if Syl's not dead, she needs to start becoming fucking Kaladin's weapons. It would be fucking cool as shit.
Can you
To
imagine?
be honest, like.
A chainsaw.
Could you just- I mean, like, could you imagine if like he had jumped into that pit and was just like, I summon this, and it just like a spear appears in his hand and shit, because Syl changed herself into a spear? It would be fucking cool as shit.
It would be cool.
It'd be even funnier if like she could affect things without being able to be perceived by people. So like he's just swinging around this, Syl spear that's invisible to everybody else. It'd be impossible for anybody to fight.
Well, at
Be
that
like,
point,
why
I
does
don't know what the fuck they're
Sword
fighting.
get deflected?
So we switch to Shalon's point of view as she follows Kaladin through the chasms, carrying her satchel and some water skins she found on some of the dead soldiers. She's glad that
Also, I want to note before we get to the part that is going to happen eventually. This is where I feel like a lot of people probably reading or listening to this book will believe that Shalon and Kaladin have this now love interest hate relationship.
Oh yeah, there's a
thing.
whole bunch of people that because they hang out in the chasms are like, oh my god, I ship them, and I think they would be an absolute terrible match for each other because they're both so fucked up. I do
well,
not
I
think
can
they'd be
see
a
it.
good couple.
I can see the argument because people say opposites attract, and the two of them are fucking opposite as hell. Like, oh. Also, I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure he saved her.
You think he did save her?
Either that or she hit the ground, broke all her fucking bones, and then somehow
Mended.
the shard or not shard, whatever the fuck, the
Stormlight?
stormlight. Thank you. The stormlight just like enveloped into her, and she healed before waking up.
I'm pretty sure that's what happened because I'm pretty sure she says all of her spheres were done. She had to go find some off a soldier's corpse in order to have any spheres that were lit. So I'm pretty sure she probably like fell almost died and then like fully healed up off Stormlight. She probably wouldn't have died if she hadn't healed.
You think they're gonna send Kaladin a replacement spread?
Calvin just gets a new spread now that he fucked up. I don't think
Okay,
the Stormfather would be very happy about that.
So Shardblades, and I'm just gonna lump Honor Blades in there, right?
Mhm.
There, if you fight with one of those, you would be able to pretty much like slice through anybody's like shit. Like they're supposed to be like the strongest thing ever, right?
So basically,
So like, if
yeah, they
you
slice.
clasped another sword, it would just slice through it.
Yeah, so I don't think it works that way for other shard blades. I think that's the only thing they can't cut through shard blades or shard plate, I believe.
Okay, what if an honor blade tries to cut through a shard blade?
I think they work in that regard
Like,
the same
yeah,
as shard
they're probably
blades.
tandem. My
Yeah.
question was going to be, what if, is it No, not Kelsier. Who's the guy in the beginning? Who had fucking Nightblood? What's the guy's name?
Asher?
Why can't I not
Vasher?
remember his? That's it, Vasher. If Vasher fought somebody with a shard blade, would Nightblood be cut in half?
That's a very good question. I
Or
don't
would
know.
Nightblood be
I don't
strong
think
enough
it would
to-
because they're just swords with investiture, right?
So Nightblood is just a normal sword that's been super invested, so it like absorbs other investiture. But I don't think the cutting ability of it.
Isn't it very similar though to what shard blades do? When
Well,
you cut people with it?
So no, because when you cut someone with a shard blade, if a shard blade cuts something living, it turns it. It kills the part of the soul. It won't cut through your arm. It just turns your arm gray. Remember that's what happened to Kaladin.
So it won't
Whereas-
What
attack.
happened when Nightblood
it-
did?
But Nightblood also will slice through. If you hold Nightblood, your skin turns gray because he starts sucking your soul out of you because their souls aren't invested. But if you cut someone with Nightblood, it will still pierce your skin because it's not I don't think it's like the actual physical aspect of the sword that is like the magical part. It's like the investiture surrounding it, like it's like that black smoke that like comes off of it.
Next thought.
Okay.
God, I could go through a lot of these because we've read so many of these books now. If you fought somebody with a shard blade,
Mhm.
right, could it cut through a hemalurgic spike?
Ooh, that's a very good question. I don't know because it's also invested. I don't know if shard blades can cut through invested objects, considering they can't cut through other shard blades. I don't know.
And would it hurt a Khandra?
It probably would
I didn't heard of
because it's
Khandra.
cutting the soul, right?
Yeah, because they technically have souls still. Because the whole point of the Khandra is that they're a soul connected to. They still have a soul connected to their body. Because they're like the souls of all the Terrace people that the Lord Ruler like killed basically when he ascended. So I think it would affect a Khandra the same way it would affect a normal person. But the question is, can Khandras heal? Because could it heal like Kaladin healed from a shard blade cut? That's the question.
Yeah, a lot of really good questions.
That
for
is a lot of good
the rest
questions.
of our books that we've.
The way I don't remember Kaladin healing from a shard blade cut.
So when he was fighting Zeth
Yeah.
cut his arm, and
Okay.
Kaladin was like,
Yeah.
"Oh shit, I've lost my arm now." But then like he sucks in a bunch of stormlight, and his arm works again. That's why Zeth is like,
right.
"Oh fucking shit, you're real. I'm having an existential crisis. Am I really truthless? Let me run
Well,
away."
Well, if they can't suck in like Stormlight, right? Then
But
they wouldn't
Stormlight's
be able
just
to heal.
a form of investiture. If they have an ability, because Feruchemists have an ability to heal. I don't remember if Khandra have the ability to heal. Because Khandra's bodies are like different. They're like goop.
Ah, he made this book when slime was popular, huh?
Honestly, I think he did make fucking Mistborn when slime was popular. Actually, I think he made it before slime was popular. No, slime was popular for a while because of Nickelodeon and stuff. Yeah, slime was definitely popular when he made it. Alright, let's try and finish these chapters off.
Why?
Because I do have to go and buy my dad a birthday present before Thanksgiving dinner.
There's a simple answer to that. Don't have a dad.
I'm sorry, I do have a dad.
What? I thought you told us all that he went out and got milk and he never came back.
No, that's Darkness's dad.
That's my dad.
Oh, true.
That's not
yeah.
mine.
Okay, go on.
Yeah, okay.
I'll bring all these other questions up in the Discord once I think about them.
Yeah, so we switch to Solange's point of view. She follows Kaladin, carrying her satchel and some water skins she found on some dead soldiers. She's glad that Kaladin believed in superstitions enough to believe that Windspread saved them, although she wasn't exactly sure how she had saved Kaladin when they fell. 'Cause you didn't. She hurries along after him, cursing his long and lathy legs. When they cross a small pond, Kaladin says he hopes she won't demand his boots again, but she reveals that she'd planned well and was wearing boots under her dress instead of slippers. As they continue on, Shallan marvels at all the plant life down in the chasms as lifespan float around them. She takes a memory of them, and Kaladin eventually takes her pack from her. She talks a bit, making jokes about the different types of talking that she can do while down here. She could tell Kaladin didn't trust her, but expected that as a bodyguard, he didn't trust many people. So what do you think about Shallan trying to talk to Kaladin while they were wandering through the chasms?
First of all, I just realized how bad it would be to argue against Shallan when she could just take screenshots of everything.
What were you gonna say, Mythic?
I don't really remember, to be honest. I was just laughing at darkness, but I thought of another question, so I'm putting it in the Discord.
Oh god, I'm gonna scroll all the way back down to the bottom of Oh my gosh, that is a very good question, Mythic. Which of the 5 souls in a Koloss would it kill if they were attacked by a Shardblade? Yeah, but you have to stab a Koloss 5 times to properly kill them.
I feel like it would just slice through all of them.
You think?
Yeah.
I have no idea.
Because they're just sharing a body, right?
Well, like, they're technically still 5 souls. That's why they're crazy, is because there's like 5
no, right,
souls
but they're still
all
sharing a
merged.
body, right?
They are still sharing one body, yeah.
Yeah, it's just gonna slice through all the souls. Because what I'm assuming happens, right? If they're sharing a body and they're all in Shadesmar, it's just like a jumble of just like a ball of souls.
Well, I think though when the Koloss were dying, doesn't Kelsier in Secret History see them, and he's like seeing all these like random people, and he's like, and they seem like super confused.
Yeah,
because,
but I'm assuming they're separated after they're dead.
Yeah, I think like once the Koloss dies, they like their souls get separated. But yeah, I don't know.
But,
It'd be interesting to
they
see what happens.
They weren't killed with like a fucking.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I wonder. It'd be interesting to see what would happen to someone's soul when they're killed with a Shardblade from the Shadesmar perspective.
Could you attack?
It'd be interesting to see what happens to a soul.
Shardblade?
Sorry, what did you say,
What's
Mythic?
that? What happened?
Could you attack somebody in Shadesmar with a Shardblade?
I cannot tell you
That'd be like-
because that is something that'll come up in later books.
Oh my god!
So I cannot answer
I'm
that.
assuming it's just gonna be like normal.
I mean, Brandon already made the comment. He's not going to tell us what happens to people when they die. So, what would happen to somebody whose soul was already out of their body, got attacked by a Shardblade?
Well,
Where do you go then? They're already in purgatory.
freaking Shardblades just attack through freaking the dimension and goes into Shadesmar, snatching souls and shit.
Yep. Yeah, I guess that's kind of how they work. They like cut the Shadesmar version. If you're an object with no soul, it basically like I guess separates the bead in half. But if you're a person, it like
Wait. So are you telling me you didn't just think it didn't cut through Shadesmar, or like what's happening?
I just never. I don't think I ever like properly thought that through about how like the Shardblade like what it's technically doing.
Well, that's what I thought it was doing the whole time.
Yeah, no, I assume that must be how it works.
Because that's how that's where the souls are.
Well, because remember that
Fine.
Stormlight was my first Sanderson book, so I had no knowledge
Yeah.
of Shadesmar stuff, like more than like just what this book tells you, for like quite a while. So like I'm
Yeah.
like only just now basically revisiting it with all of this new knowledge
That's
with you
funny.
guys. Alright, so eventually they get to an intersection, and Kaladin hesitates as he tries to decide which is the right way to go. Shallan tries to make a joke about the gloomy atmosphere of Bastion Kaladin, but he then ends up going into a rant about how Light Eyes like to play with the people beneath them, which annoys Shallan. She ends up saying that it seems like Kaladin is the one who cares about eye color, and that maybe people don't like him not because he's dark-eyed, but because he's a pain to be around. Kaladin eventually states that Shallan took his boots for no reason previously, which is an example of her playing with the people beneath her. Shallan doesn't have an answer for that. Kaladin then says she isn't as bad as most of the Light Eyes, though, and Shallan says that even if she is a pretentious woman, that Kaladin is also mean and odious. She also states that Kaladin disliked her from the start, even before the boots. Kaladin replies it's because he can tell that she's always lying. Their argument is cut off, however, by the sound of carapace scraping on rocks, and they agree to run. So what do you think about Kaladin and Shallan's argument?
It's like 2 children.
Wait, which argument was this? Because they argued the whole time.
This was the argument about Shallan saying that Kaladin's a mean and hateful person, and Kaladin saying that all Light Eyes are... Well, this isn't his full all Light Eyes rant, but this is him saying, like, Light Eyes just like to play with, like, the Dark Eyes, and, like, they use them as, like, playthings and don't care about them.
I both need to shut up. I don't care. I genuinely don't care, bro. At this point, they're trying to survive, and all they're doing is arguing.
So then we get Chapter 70, From a Nightmare. We
Got a message from my brother, by the way, while we're in this podcast. He said that this is what he said this is a Shardblade, but he didn't tell me which one it is. It's a cool looking fucking blade, to be honest.
think that might be the one Dalinar gave to Sadeas, because it has the, like, hook tip at the end.
That looks cool as fucking shit, though. Because we're sitting here talking about Shardblades, and I'm sure he was like, "Oh, Shardblade, here, look, this is a Shardblade."
Yeah, I think that's the one that Dalinar now has,
Well,
or that
okay.
Sadius now has. I mean,
Yeah, yep. It said it's called Oathbringer.
yeah.
Yep,
Why is it
okay.
not giving me the image that I want to send?
Question
Yeah.
before I forget. No, Shadesmar.
Mhm.
Yasna. Okay, so Yasna and Shallan both went into Shadesmar, right?
So Shallan and
Right.
Yasna, both with their soul casting abilities, they're able to like be halfway in between. They're like not fully in Shadesmar when they do their soul casting, but they can like see into Shadesmar and interact with it.
Okay, so does that mean they're physically still in the real world?
Yes, they're physically still in the real world because if you remember when Shallan was trying to get Stick to become fire, Pattern was like, "Be careful, you can't fall too far into Shadesmar," because she has to like keep a footing in the physical realm so that she doesn't so that she can like not fully transition.
So what if that's just what happened to Yasna? She's
You
just,
think she just got
fully slipped
too
in
far?
there. Yeah.
Maybe.
Also, that's soul casting. The only limited to them, right?
Soul casting is only Elf's colors and
No, like for
Light
entering
years.
Shadesmar.
No,
just
soul
the
casting is
casting
not
thing?
the only thing that interacts with Shadesmar. Lift's ability to like lose friction is part of her being partially in Shadesmar, which is why she doesn't like the friction of the ground doesn't affect her. So her ability also is a you're partially in Shadesmar type thing.
Why would she need that? All she needs is some butter.
Also, we get this image, which is Shallan's drawing of the different plant life
Yeah.
in the
I
chasms
wanted a drawing of the thing.
of the chasm fiend.
Yeah.
I don't know if we get one or not later. I'd have to double check. I think Shallan does take a memory. I think we do get that image eventually from her, probably, of the memory she takes of the chasm fiend in this chapter. So we also get the epigraph, which is, whether this was Tanavast's design or not, millennia have passed without Ray's taking the life of another of the 16. While I mourn for the great suffering Ray's has caused, I do not believe we could hope for a better outcome than this. So do you agree that Race being trapped in the Rashardan system is the best outcome to keep Race from killing the other shards?
I mean, for now, yeah.
Also, just so you know, the name Tanavast, that was the name of Honor's vessel.
Yeah, I figured.
So yeah, this person say they don't know whether Tanavast meant to trap Race here, but whether he meant it or not, it did happen. And it was a good thing.
What if he was just trying to marry him?
Maybe. So we switch back to Kaladin's point of view as he and Shallan scramble through the chasms, Kaladin holding back his pace as Shallan is hindered by her dress. As they get to an intersection, Kaladin glances behind them to confirm they are being followed by the chasm fiend. He grabs Shallan's satchel to take more weight from her as they continue through the chasms at random. The chasm fiend trumpets as Shallan screams. She eventually picks a different direction than Kaladin, and he has to go after her, trying to tell her to not argue with him now, but she insists that he follow her. Eventually, Shallan stops him and has him be quiet and cover the spheres they're using for light. Kaladin realizes soon that she has led them back to where they started, and where there were corpses from the beast to feed on. After a moment, Shallan slowly makes her way towards it, and Kaladin asks if she's crazy, but she insists she needs to get a look at it. Sorry, I didn't mute in time.
She's dying. Everybody's dying.
Kaladin reluctantly follows her, and she points out some glowing arrows of spread that had been seen following sky eels. They eventually move away from the chasm fiend. So what do you think about Shallan's plan to get the chasm fiend to leave them alone?
What is she doing?
She led the chasm fiend back to where they started, where all the corpses were, so
Right.
they would feed
Yeah,
on the corpses of the
Mhm.
soldiers.
The poor soldiers. I mean, they're dead, but still.
I mean, better dead people get eaten than live people.
I don't know about that.
What do you think about her plan, Mythic?
Decently good idea, to be honest. I still kind of wanted to know what that thing looked like, though.
Also, what do you think about Shallan choosing to get close to the chasm fiend to take a memory of it?
That reminds me of all the people that put themselves in danger just to get like footage of something for their like social media and shit.
I was thinking more like wildlife documentary people, but okay.
Nah.
So we switch to Shallan's point of view, hours later as they wander the chasms. Kaladin chooses her direction, and Shallan does her best to try to keep track of where they are going, although she would need to sketch it out to fully figure out where they are. Shallan then glances into her pouch to see her spheres drained from increasing her endurance to keep up with Kaladin while fleeing from the chasm fiend. She was just glad that they had escaped. Eventually, Kaladin says they should stop for the night, not just because she is tired, but also so he can use the sun in the morning to figure out where they are, as he's completely lost. They settle down in a dry area, using some still-lit spheres for light and eating some rations that they had found on one of the soldiers. Shallan jokes about being a bridgeman, but Kaladin replies that she likely wouldn't look good in the outfit, or too good and be distracting to others if they have open vests and shorts. Shalon then begins sketching to relax, doing a warm-up of a map of the chasms they'd gone through. Kaladin takes a look at it and mentions they've probably been heading south instead of west. So what do you think about the combination of Shalon's maps and Kaladin's knowledge of the plateaus and chasms working together to figure out where they were and where to go?
I would have believed her when she drew that map and was like, I remember. Like, how the fuck are you gonna remember accurately?
And she's like, oh shit, wait, I totally, I mean, some of it's guessing.
I get Kaladin's not the brightest, but personally, I would have been so suspicious.
I think he's just tired. I think he's too tired to be suspicious. He's just like, let's just pretend that this isn't an issue. Let's just go along with it. So Kaladin wakes her up early in the next morning before the sun has even risen. He states that he has an idea of where to go based on her map, and once the sun rises, he'll have a better idea of where they are headed. Eventually the sun rises and confirms they are headed in the right direction. Shalon tries to ask what Kaladin is thinking about, but he doesn't want to argue more. However, Shalon insists that he insults her to prove that it is still too early for her to properly insult him back, and thus there will be no arguments. They joke around a bit, and Kaladin states that he can't figure her out, and asks why she's here on the Shattered Plains. Shalon states that she came here to continue Yasna's work, and that Adolin had been a delightful surprise, but not her main purpose of being here. They then continue moving, and Shalon distracts herself by thinking of some of the nearby plants, causing Pattern to hum. She swats at him and gets him to be quiet so Kaladin doesn't hear him. Kaladin then asks if Yasna's research has something to do with the structures out on the Shattered Plains, and Shalon thinks that Kaladin is too perceptive. Kaladin continues to muse out loud about his suspicions, stating that it isn't treasure that she is looking for since marrying Adolin would get her wealth. He also mentions that she wouldn't lie about being Shalon since impersonating someone of higher status would have been better for her. Kaladin also brings up her worries about the Parshman and reveals that he had made sure his Bridgeman stayed close to her and Adolin on their dates, as he had been worried about her trying to assassinate Adolin. Shalon then says she would exile the Parshman if she could, but Kaladin asks who would take over their roles in society as he's still upset about being a slave. So what did you think about Kaladin putting together some of the pieces of what Shalon is doing out here on the Shattered Plains?
He's not an idiot.
I was surprised at the amount of stuff he got.
Yeah, he's figuring shit out. So Kaladin eventually says that he doesn't see how Shalon can understand his point of view when she has lived such a sheltered and pampered life. She is silent for a moment before calling what he said funny, and eventually tells him his views on her seem conflicting. Kaladin reluctantly agrees that they are, and Shalon then promises that she means no harm to Adolin and his family, and Kaladin states that he believes her. Suddenly, Shalon notices they are heading south again instead of west, and she asks for her satchel to draw out the map again. So what do you think about Kaladin and Shalon continuing to get lost?
That does not surprise me. Actually, it does surprise me. Didn't she, like... Well, I guess she's never been there before, huh?
Yeah, that was her first time out into the Shattered Plains, was, like, at one time, so... She's only seen maps of, like, the area before. What do you think, Mythic, about them getting lost?
Both of them probably have never been, like actually through wherever they're at, so
Yep.
it'd be pretty easy to get lost, to be honest. And they're not working together that well, so they would just tell each other their, deepest, darkest secrets in this deep, dark cavern. Maybe they'd find a way out to the light.
Alright, our overview questions. First of all, do you think the information about Dalar's visions is going to affect the people who support him going to attack the Parshendi's camp?
No, not really.
Some people might not want to fight with him, huh?
Mm-hmm.
You know, if they think he's having delusions and visions.
What stops him from having a vision in the middle of battle, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Well, apparently they only happen during high storms, so...
Okay, but like, they could totally just pull that out.
Yeah. Also, what do you think is going to be the solution for Kaladin's conflicting vows to Dalinar and Moash?
I think this. You want to know what I think the solution is? Is that what
Yeah.
your
What do
question
you
is?
what do you think? Yeah. What do you think? Like how do you think Kaladin can solve this issue, or do you think he can?
Well, it's the promise he
So,
made to
yeah, I
Dalinar.
was like, what are the two promises? The
I
promise is what?
believe his promise to Dalinar
What's
is
the
to
exact
protect
wording?
Elhokar, and his promise to Moash is to allow them what's the exact thing? I think it was like give them the chance to assassinate Elhokar. Like it was, they said you only have to promise us to like help us like get our opportunity. Like he doesn't have to do the
So-
killing himself.
Okay, but he can give them the opportunity and then still stop them at the same time. Like they have the opportunity, they just have to defeat him. There's your opportunity.
So you think that's the solution is that he needs to give them the chance to go in, but then also go back in and stop them afterwards?
Yeah, don't say nothing, but go in and still defend.
What do you think, Darkness?
That's not very honorable.
Yeah, I'm thinking of another way now, and then I think about it. So give me a second. I might think of something else while you're thinking of yours.
What if he just convinces them not to?
Maybe.
Because usually he's always fighting and shit. Maybe it's time for words.
That's what Dalinar's been doing lately. He's given up on fighting and he's trying to do words. It's not working the best for Dalinar, though.
Yeah, but Dalinar is old and like decrepit and like senile. You know,
He's only in his 50s.
he's getting delusions.
He's getting visions from the Almighty, who's dead.
You imagine somebody pulls up and they're like, "Oh yeah, I see visions of dead gods."
Yeah, people
I would,
would definitely
I would,
think you were
I would follow them into
crazy.
battle totally.
Exactly. Why would anybody not follow them into battle? Give me a second, because I'm thinking of another way to do this. Like, trying to lawyer my way through it.
Mm.
What if he just kills them all?
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like if he just,
There's so many things that can go wrong, and they're all just waiting in the background, and it makes me nervous.
yeah, I think because the whole thing is to give them the opportunity, basically, to do like give them the basically like open the door and let him go in there, right? Like, here you go, here he is. He never promised to them that like he wouldn't be there to defend him. So what if he stood up? Like, I mean, who's gonna do the assassination?
Well, at that point, right? So let's
You think Moash
think
should be
about
the
this.
one? Oh, go on.
If he does provide that opportunity, right? He technically it technically doesn't mean that he wouldn't be able to tell Dalinar even if he had to give him that opportunity. Because what if he goes, tells Dalinar what they're planning, has Dalinar try and fight like Moash like head on? That's still giving him the opportunity to like not Dalinar, Elokar head on, right?
Mm-hmm.
That still like gives them the opportunity to fuck him up. But Dalinar could still be there to protect them. And it also wouldn't stop him from protecting them.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's just gonna stand up to Moash. Probably like right in the end, to be honest. 'Cause I feel
I
like
said
Moash,
no.
yeah, I feel like Moash is gonna be the one that's gonna go, do this.
Well, he's
Mm.
the only one that's got the freaking blade.
Yeah.
Shield
So
blade.
exactly, he's gonna end up like fighting Moash or some shit.
To the
Mm.
death.
Summon his Syl Shardblade and fight Moash with his Shardblade. Yeah.
Also, do you think Kaladin will be able to get his powers back, or has he killed Syl fully?
I don't
No,
think he's killed
she's not dead.
Syl fully. I don't think she's dead. I think she's. I feel like he's gonna find a way.
Mm.
She's
Like-
dead temporarily. We all know that's how that
I
works.
think she's
Okay.
just too weak a state that she can't
Like
manifest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Give
Like, I
it
don't
one
think
more.
she's
Give
dead.
it one more episode, and Minna will tell us if she's
Oh
dead or
my
not.
gosh. Do you think Kaladin
One more?
Shallan? Do you think Kaladin Shallan will make it back to the war camps before the high storm?
Yes.
No,
No. How do you think they're going to survive the high storm?
they're gonna
Wait,
go.
he survived
They're
the high
gonna
storm
go.
last time.
She's gonna go glowy.
Oh, I see. Okay.
She's just gonna cast an illusion, and the high storm's not even gonna notice them.
My final question was:
The high storm is the illusion.
Yeah.
My final question is: do you think Kaladin would learn about Shallan being a light weaver while they're down in the chasms?
Yes. I also think that Shallan's gonna learn that he assassinated her brother.
That would be bad.
I don't know about that. She might go into her like family. So he stepped in and was like telling her how her life was. I feel like in the next two chapters she's gonna tell him how her life actually was
Mm.
and about her brothers and where her oldest brother went, and then he's gonna be like, "Oh shit," like, "Oops."
Yeah, she's gonna be like, "Oh yeah, my oldest brother left, and then he was fucking killed by Amram, I think, because like Amram has a Shardblade, and Kaladin's gonna be like, oh, I know where that Shardblade came from."
No, but at the beginning he's gonna be like, "Amaram, I knew he's fucking everyone else," and then yeah.
He's gonna be like, "Oh, that was me."
I wonder if.
He couldn't.
Go on. Go ahead.
No, you first before you
Okay.
forget.
So no, I won't forget. Don't worry. You go ahead. I'll
So,
add to it. after.
What if he like pulls her into his plan to like just fuck up Amaram?
Hmm. They're gonna go after Amram together.
Because it would make sense,
Hmm.
He needs allies against Amaram, and she's like a light eyes with like.
I have a different idea
Standing.
of how Amaram dies, but
Oh yeah. How do you think Amram's gonna die?
I think Rock kills Amaram.
Ooh, interesting.
Prague.
Yeah.
With Stu?
No. So I've had this thing of Rock continuously saying that he doesn't want to fight and he won't fight and yada yada, but like Rock seems like a very capable person,
Yes.
like very capable, and it's been like this thought in my head that maybe he would get a Shardblade originally, like it would have been given to him or something, but that like or that he already has one, and he's just like he's just too what's the word, enigmas, I guess. Like he's like an enigma. Like it's he seems like he knows more than he's supposed to. He's just seems more knowledgeable and like and he's just a soft-spoken person, really. Like, and so to me, it makes me think that like he's going to either they're all gonna fight Amaram, like all of the Bridge Four are gonna end up like going after Amaram, or Rock is just gonna go murder him in his sleep. Just I feel like I just have this like feeling like Rock is gonna fucking kill Amaram and then like offer the shard blade to Kaladin, and Kaladin's gonna be like, I don't want that, because my thought was way back when he killed her brother and the shard blade was there, and then Amaran took it and said he originally stated he didn't want it.
Yeah.
And this is supposedly before we knew Syl existed.
Yeah, he said he didn't. I believe we're in Kaladin's point of view, and he says like when he looked at the Shardblade, all he saw was the death of all the men it had killed, because like his whole squad basically died except for like 3 or 4 guys, and so he's like, I don't want anything to do with that. He's like, I
feel
can't.
Like it went deeper. I feel like it goes deeper than that, just like subconsciously. That like, because so we know Pattern has been with her for a majority of her life, if not all of her life. And just she didn't know it. So what if Syl also has been with Kaladin for a majority of his life, and he didn't know it, and then that's the reason, like he was more like he was put off for that reason, but he was also put off in the other sense as well, because like he already has Syl, and he just didn't want anything to do with it.
I think Syl does reveal at some point in the first book that she's like, oh yeah, you should, I was hoping that once you stopped being a bridgeman, you'd go back to how you were in the army. And he's like, you didn't even know me in the army. And she's like, I did. And he was like, what the fuck?
I'm pretty sure we got confirmation that she was there when he was fighting in that one army in the beginning.
Yeah.
I don't know how far back before that though.
As far as we know, the farthest back we're aware of right now is that she was there sometime in the army. We don't know when, but at some point.
I think she's always been with him. I think they bond at birth kind of thing.
I think that potentially the first time she might have felt pulled towards Kaladin is when he volunteered for Amaram's army to protect Tien. Like that's like the first real sense of protection that I feel like he really felt like the strongest pull, and I feel like that would be a reasonable start to it. Yeah,
for sure. And that would
because he like changed his whole like course in life when he went with his brother to fight.
He's no longer a doctor. But yeah, no, that's my thought. I mean, there's definitely a lot of correlation, in my opinion, a lot of correlation with the Shard Blades and Spren. That it just seems like, and like just the whole. I only started really thinking about this when he touched the Shard Blade and she fucking screamed, and I was like, what if it's a dead Spren and she can feel that Spren in some way, and so like it's painful for her because she knows.
So Syl wasn't the one who screamed when he touched the Shardblade.
No,
he heard screaming. Yeah, and if you remember, the guy who also heard the screaming, because they were both touching it, he ran away saying, "I didn't kill you. I didn't kill you."
Yeah.
So just adding that little thing in there.
Yeah, but I mean, didn't he say that when he was falling, he heard the same scream?
Yeah, no, he heard Syl scream, and he's like, it sounded similar, to the scream that he heard.
So that's what I'm saying. So like,
yeah.
Just
the way you worded it made it sound like
but my assumption isn't that guy heard Syl screaming. I think he heard, if I'm right, this is all going on based off that. If I'm right, he heard the Spren that is inside his Shard Blade scream, probably something to the extent of like, "Why did you kill me?" or something, And then obviously he then exclaims out, "I didn't kill you, kind of thing. Because that's not what Kaladin heard, though. Kaladin just heard screaming. He didn't hear anything about somebody killing him.
Yeah, he didn't hear anything about killing. But yeah, he specifically, I don't think, heard Syl screaming because he would have recognized Syl's voice. He just heard a scream. like
He said
horrible
it sounded-
screaming.
Didn't he just? didn't
He just said it
say
sounded. He said Sill's scream reminded him of that scream, but he
Reminded,
doesn't say that
okay.
Sill was the one screaming back during the
Okay.
duel. That's what I was kind of trying to clarify. Was that
Okay.
I believe he wasn't hearing Sill scream at the time. Sill was just horrified that he
Maybe
was doing that, but he
hearing-
heard a scream from something.
Okay, I thought it was the same. Okay, I thought
Yeah.
that's why I correlated it. So maybe then it instead he heard the scream of that spren that's in the Shardblade or something, and then I don't know why the other dude wouldn't have heard just that. Then I don't know. I didn't kill you. I didn't kill you. Kind of just yeah.
Mhm.
I don't know. It feels like
If they did hear the same, if you're right and it is like a spren or something, it may be that he heard more because that was the blade he was bonded to, the other guy. So maybe he heard more
Maybe.
than Kaladin did, because Kaladin wasn't
Yeah.
bonded to the blade.
Mm-hmm. Kaladin will never bond to a blade. He already has one. In the name of Syl.
Anyways, so those were the end of my questions. So next week we are doing chapter 71 through to interlude 12.
Jesus Christ.
So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 chapters.
Okay.
So yeah, so we'll do that next week. Thank you guys all so much for listening. I've got to go because I got to go do stuff for Thanksgiving, but we'll see you around.
That's what next month you're talking about.
No, it's Thanksgiving today.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Bye.